Insane! Just what Kyle Larson announced about his future. Kyle Larson's back in the news with his new comment made on his future. But this time, this is something different that's going to hit hard for his coming future. So what is it? What has he announced? If you want to know more about it, make sure you stay tuned here. Hey everyone, welcome back to Racing Rush. Follow this video till the end to know everything about this announcement. And let's begin. The 108th edition of the greatest spectacle in racing is already having its first one-off driver entry, one that very well may steal the show. There are still 500 days before the 2024 Indianapolis 500. Yes, you heard that correctly, the 2024 Indy 500, and you may want to take a second look at that date. Kyle Larson, the winner of the 2021 NASCAR Cup and a famous dirt track racer, has teamed up with Arrow McLaren to compete in the 2024 Indy 500, which will take place on May 26th next year. Larson will be supported in this endeavor by his NASCAR team owner Rick Hendrick. The California resident, who is 30 years old, will be only the 5th driver in history to compete in both the IndyCar and NASCAR races on the same day, which will take place on the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. Larson will have more than a year to build up his IndyCar familiarity with testing chances, which will likely involve a day on a non-IMS track, as well as performing his rookie orientation program months ahead of his month of May debut, as many 500 rookies have done in previous years. In 2014, Kurt Busch was the last driver to attempt to complete the double. His race car in the Indy 500 will be co-owned by Hendrick and will have title sponsorship. This company is Larson's primary sponsor in the Cup Series for the number 5 Chevy-powered vehicle he drives. Both the car's livery and the driver's starting number for his first run in the Indy 500 will be revealed at a later time. Larson made the following statement after he was given the opportunity to compete in the Indianapolis 500. Racing in the Indy 500 is a goal of mine and something I've wanted to achieve for a very long time, since I was a youngster, before I even started competing in sprint cars, Larson said in the statement. I've wanted to achieve it for a very long time. Being able to accomplish it with Arrow McLaren, and Mr. Hendrick in particular, is like having a dream come true, he said. Even though it's still about a year and a half away, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and maybe I'll earn a victory or two that day. The 2021 Coca-Cola 600 at CMS was Larson's second of his 10 victories 2 years ago, and what quickly became a dominant performance on the way to his first Cup title in his maiden season with Hendrick Motorsports. To this point in his career, Larson has won 19 points-paying Cup races, both the 2019 and 2021 All-Star races, and Rookie of the Year in 2014. Hendrick, whose stock car teams have won an all-time record 291 points-paying Cup races, will make his debut in IndyCar racing in the 500 the following year. Hendrick is the team owner whose stock car teams have won the most races in the history of the series. In addition to that, he holds the record for most victories by an owner at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval by having won the Brickyard 400 race on the 2.5-mile track 10 times, Jeff Gordon with 5 wins, Jimmy Johnson with 4, and Casey Kane with 1. Having the chance to support Kyle, collaborate with an outstanding team like Arrow McLaren, and promote in one of the world's great auto racing events is very unique, Hendrick said in a statement about the partnership. HendrickCars.com is proud to be a part of this historic event. It was essential that we provide Kyle with a high-quality gear and give him a sufficient amount of time to be ready for such a challenging competition. To make it happen, we need a partnership such as this one, and happily, the planets fell into place for us to make it happen. We are 100% dedicated to carrying out the task in the most effective manner possible, and we're excited to collaborate with Zach and his firm. After being one of a handful of people in the NASCAR world who had recently raised their hands as possible candidates who might like to follow in the footsteps of Kurt Busch, Robbie Gordon, Tony Stewart, and Johnny Andretti, Larson appeared as if he might be primed to make a run at the 500 this year, as McLaren Racing CEO Zach Brown attempted to field a major name in a one-off ride alongside his full-season tandem of Pato O'Ward and Alexander Ross. Larson, Hendrick, and Gordon, who was a vice chairman of Hendrick Motorsports, had early negotiations with Brown's team, but they were unable to come to an agreement that was satisfactory for all parties. In addition, McLaren's IndyCar division made overtures toward Kurt Busch's younger brother Kyle after it became public that Kyle would switch Cup teams and manufacturers in 2023, moving from Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing to Richard Childress Racing and Chevrolet, respectively. After it was known that Kyle would be switching teams, the IndyCar division of McLaren made these advancements in their racing strategy. The younger Busch made it quite clear in his opening words that he has had for a very long time the desire to compete in the double, and that he is now in a position to finally seek such a chance, which Toyota and Gibbs had previously prevented him from doing.
Or have you talked to them about Indy 500 possibilities yet?
That's in the deal, Bob. I made sure it was in the deal. I can go run it if I want to run it. So by all means, any IndyCar teams that are Chevrolet, call me up.
So it's you can do it.
I can do it.
And
in the end, though, Brown said that he had a preference for a driver who had experience and who was assured to be able to contend for the win. One of the drivers that Arrow McLaren chose to drive for the team was Tony Kanaan, who finished third in 2022 and won the Indianapolis 500 in 2013. As Kanaan had previously alluded to while speaking with Indy Star before the end of the previous year, his 22nd participation in the greatest spectacle in racing might very well be his last, but he has said that he will not go into the month of May with that decision completely made. Arrow McLaren made a mention of an opening in its 2024 lineup in the press release that was issued after the news that Larson had been brought on board. Because of this, it seems as if Kanaan's time spent competing for Arrow McLaren will most likely be restricted to only one event. This is because the team's contemplating expanding its roster to include 4 full-time cars in 2024, which would make Larson the team's 5th driver if the expansion were to take place. There is still a chance that things may turn out well for us. Johnson, who announced earlier in the week that he's still exploring a 500 chance with Chip Ganassi Racing, might beat Larson to the punch in his bid to achieve the double. Jimmy Johnson made this announcement earlier in the week, and knowing that this is the same team that he competed with for the entirety of the 2022 IndyCar season before retiring from full-time racing to pursue an ownership stake in what is now known as Legacy Motor Club, formerly known as Petty GMS, in ownership along with Richard Petty and Maury Gallagher. During that time, he raced for IndyCar, but Johnson is currently committed to making his debut in his number 84 Chevy at the Daytona 500. And he's also said that he'd like to run a handful of other Cup races in 2023. These races could include the All-Star race, which directly conflicts with qualifying for the Indianapolis 500, as well as the Coca-Cola 600, in an attempt to add the double to his Hall of Fame resume. Johnson is currently committed to making his debut at the Daytona 500, but Johnson is determined to make his first race appearance there, and he's also stated his intention to do so. That's all for this video. Let us know in the comment box what all you thought about our video. Like it and share it with your friends. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel to watch more amazing videos like this, and click the bell icon to get notifications on our latest videos. Thanks for watching.